So hi everyone, my name is Dr. Caroline Taylor-Walker and I'm here at Ministry of Skin in Torquay, and what I want to talk to you a little bit today is about filler. So we've got a fantastic offer here at Ministry of Skin in September, and that's 4 mils of filler for $2,000, which we think is actually amazing. Now 4 mils might sound a real lot of filler, but actually it's not that much. If you think of it on a spoon, it's not even a teaspoon amount, and if you're thinking of putting that all over the face, it's actually not that much at all. At the clinic here, we don't chase lines. We don't just do lips and chase lines. We can do lips if you want them done, but what we want to do is we want to maintain your face. We want to maintain you, rescue you from aging, and keep a natural kind of look. We need to, when you're aging, the bony structure gets smaller, your muscles get smaller, and the fat pads on the top get smaller, and the skin on top gets bigger. And what we want to do is rescue you from aging and put back that structure back underneath the skin. So the skin on the top doesn't fold and it doesn't crease and it doesn't wrinkle. If you come in and say, I don't like this line, I don't like this line, I don't like this line, if someone then just chases those lines and fixes those lines, they're doing it wrong. What they're then doing is similar to in a house. They're filling up the little cracks in the house without replacing the structure. So what will happen is when you leave, you might look great, and for a couple of months you might look great, but because there's no structure underneath, those lines will just reform. They might not form in that spot, but they'll form next door to it because the skin is still falling down into a hollow where the structure used to be. So with the 4 mils, what we do is global facial transformations, and we use our scientific artistry to bring back and maintain your natural youthful looks. I'm just going to show you in these pictures. So the ages are a little bit different. So here when you're younger, you have these beautiful fat pads underneath the skin, and what they do is they provide the structure underneath the skin to give your face its shape. As you can see, as you get older, these fat pads start to go, and the first place they start to go is actually here, just underneath the eye. So it's actually around in this area. And what I tend to find is when people first start looking for cosmetic treatments, they're worried about the lines under here. So they come in asking for anti-wrinkle injections. Can they have anti-wrinkle injections to remove the lines that are here? What that will do is obviously stop the muscle from creasing and creasing the skin, but it's not solving why those lines are there. And the reason why their lines are there is, as you can see in that picture, there's no fat pads there anymore compared to here. See those beautiful fat pads? Here they've gone. The other area that they start going is running down here and underneath the eye. So again, that's this area here. So what people start finding is they're feeling that they're looking more tired, that they're getting some bags under the eye, some hollowings, and a line that runs down here that makes them look and feel tired. So again, it's those fat pads. We need to put those fat pads back in. Then as you can see further on with time, those fat pads really go. So if you have a look at the beginning, over here at the fat pads, and then if you look over here at the fat pads, they start going. Now the ages at the top there aren't necessarily correlating. It does depend on the person. So over here you can see that there's no fat pads laterally on the cheeks. There's none kind of hollowing in the temples, and you're starting to not get some underneath the eyes. But interestingly, what stays is those around this area, around the mouth and around the jawline. So you're starting to lose fat here, here, here. So everywhere down the lateral side, you're losing fat. If there's no fat there, the skin falls down, it's got no structure, and then it starts hanging down here. And that makes this area and this area look heavier. The other interesting thing, as I said about the fat pads that stay, the fat pads that remain, just to make things nicer for us, are these fat pads, and these fat pads. So not only is the skin coming down this way, but you're also retaining these fat pads. So everything here becomes heavier. So with the filler, basically all that we're doing is putting back these fat pads. So we're putting back these lateral cheek fat pads. We're putting back the fat pads in the temple. We put fat pads back in these areas underneath the eyes. And by doing that, we're giving the skin back its structure, which can often give it a bit of a lift, and we're putting back its volume and its shape. So the 4 mils is fantastic to do that. We can do the temple area, we can do the lateral cheeks, we can do around this area. And generally, as you can see from the picture, most people from kind of mid-30s upwards need this to just maintain their facial structure. So we're not changing you, we're not making you abnormal, we're not adding loads and loads and loads of filler and making you look funny. We're literally just replacing what you have lost. So This is why we put this deal. It's now coming into summer. You've been feeling quite tired. You look tired. You look drained. You might be looking sadder than normal. And what we can do is improve all that with the filler. By putting the structure back in here, the structure back in this area, and keeping the skin back up here, we do also lessen the look of the nasolabials. We can lessen the look of the marionettes, and we can improve the jawline. It also means by this having its structure back in place, a little bit like being back at this age, you don't necessarily need as many anti-wrinkle injections, because obviously the skin is being held with the structure there. So when you crease, the skin isn't falling back down into a hole where there's no structure. So you don't necessarily need as much anti-wrinkle injections. As you can clearly see, I haven't got any anti-wrinkle injections in at the moment. I've got a full kind of movement of everything around there. But the reason why I don't need as much, or I feel personally I don't need as much, is because I use filler. I put filler in. I've probably got more filler in my face than I have skin or my own fat. Look, everyone could look at me and say that I could do more or I could do less, but it's my choice what I want to look like, and how I am at the moment. I'm pretty happy with. I want to stay my age, but I want to maintain things so I don't look tireder. I don't look or feel tireder than I am. So I haven't got any anti-wrinkle injections anywhere, because I use the filler to replace that structure underneath. Now, once we've replaced the structure, we can then always contour, and we can then chase lines if we need to. But generally, once you put the structure in, once you put the contour in, you don't need to chase lines. And we've then treated you scientifically, artistry, and put it where it should be. So if you want to find out more about the deal, then don't hesitate to call the clinic on 5261 6171. Have a look on our website, ministryofskin.com.au. If you want to have a chat about it further and how we can help and what you want, then don't hesitate to come in and talk to any of our staff. We're all really highly trained here. Again, we look for natural looks. We don't chase lines. We rescue you from aging and harmonise the face so everything sits where it should do, and you look nice and natural and feel wonderful and happy and empowered and beautiful. All right, good to talk to you, and hopefully I'll talk again next week. Bye-bye.